Hello everyone, it's Jenna. I'm a Pilates and yoga instructor. Thank you so much for joining me for another weekly Pilates somatic tune-up. And we are going to work on the hips and the connection of the pelvis to the legs, working on those articulations and inside of the hip joint today. So that will be our movement focus today. Before that, we're going to do a somatic movement and release practice. And then we will move into our Pilates and yoga movement practice. If you just want to skip ahead and go right to the movement practice, that is totally fine. You can go below the video and scrub on the timestamp to the movement portion of the video, which is labeled there. So let's go ahead and get started. Take a comfortable seat, either on a cushion, a block, or if it's comfortable for you just to sit on the floor, then feel free to do that as well. You're always welcome to pick another position that feels more comfortable for you, like on your back, or even you can sit in a chair. So you really just want to feel like the muscles in your hips especially are able to relax, so that then you can just focus more on the meditation and the practice that we're doing without your body being so uncomfortable. So when you're ready, we're going to just start by doing a body scan. So you can just take a moment to close your eyes and just tune into your body. We're going to take a few deep breaths here, breathing in through the nose and exhaling out the mouth. Breathing in through the nose and exhaling out the mouth. And one more breath like that. Breathing in and breathing out. And just beginning to notice what sensations you may feel in the body today. Is there anything in particular that immediately stands out to you or jumps out to you? The body often wants to communicate with us and develop this deeper relationship so that we're connecting our mind and our body. So just notice that. What do you immediately notice speaks to you? And what does that sensation feel like? What is the quality of the sensation that you're feeling? How could you describe it? Does it have a texture? It could be sticky, thick, slippery. It could feel spacious. As you're deepening into this sensation, does it change at all? Noticing that. Is it shifting? Is it moving around your body? Is it staying in the same place? And as you are ready, start to gently open your eyes. And so what did you notice? Maybe you want to write that down, take a note of it. Maybe you have some insights about what you experienced in your body. It's not very often in life that we really take the time to pay attention to what we're actually feeling and experiencing in our bodies. So this is a great opportunity to do that. And then we can move that energy doing some gentle exercises and movement practices. Wonderful. So now we're going to take those sensations that you were feeling in your body, the place that you were feeling it in your body. We're going to lay down on our backs. So whatever cushions or pillows or blocks you had, just move that out of the way. And as you lay down on your back, come back to that sensation that you were feeling in your body, that area where you were feeling the sensation. And notice, has it changed at all? And let's do this practice with our eyes open so we can orient to the environment around us, which provides a sense of safety to the nervous system. If there's something even in your room, if you can open up your peripheral vision, just notice what you see around your room. And so now we're going to take that sensation and move it through the body. So the first thing you can do is just ask that feeling, that sensation, how do you want to move? And then notice the initial impulse that comes when you ask that question. So right away, you might feel that there's a movement that wants to happen. And you can go with that movement. Or maybe it's not as obvious and you're not quite sure yet, and that's totally fine. And actually very normal to feel that way. And so you can just continue to listen. How does that sensation want to move? And you might start to get an answer. Sometimes it actually comes as a word, like, I want to move my hips. And sometimes it just comes as the body initiating the movement. So see where that resonates for you and where you feel that and what wants to naturally arise. And just allow that movement to happen. And so I'm going to give you some suggestions here if you're not quite sure. So one of the ways it's helpful to move energy is through moving the hips and the pelvis. So as you see, I'm just swaying my knees side to side and I'm allowing my hips to go along with the movement. And that might not feel like what you want to be doing, how you want to move the energy. And maybe you actually don't even want to be on your back. Maybe you want to be in standing or in a kneeling position. Maybe your arms want to move, your hips want to roll. So really allow yourself to go with whatever movement naturally wants to come about. Allow that energy to move through your body in whatever way feels best. I'm moving my knees and my hips, and you can do whatever feels good for you. Today I'm feeling a little just more internal and not as energized today. So I'm doing this practice on my back. But again, whatever position feels good for you. It's all about listening to those impulses and developing that communication and that relationship with the body. And then we're just going to find a place of stillness now, and you can keep your eyes open. Notice if that sensation has changed. And notice what you're feeling in your body. And what we're looking for is the discharging of that energy, like it has a pathway to move out. So especially if the sensation that you're feeling might be one like tightness or that's a little bit more uncomfortable for you to feel, then, it's really different when you're able to move and release that energy, and then to notice the difference, the change in your system. So your system will feel different. It'll feel like something has shifted and moved through. So if you want a little more time with this practice, then you can go ahead and pause the video, spend a little bit more time with it on your own. And now we're going to continue to do some movement so that we can continue to allow this energy to flow through our bodies. So if you're not already on your back, when you're ready, you can go ahead and come to lying down on your back. We're going to bring our hands to our lower belly. Breathe into the lower belly, expanding it like a balloon, and exhale. Allow all the air out. Again, breathe into the belly. Expand the belly like a balloon, and exhale. And notice the natural expansion and contraction of your belly. So we'll do one more breath like that. Big belly breath. Exhale, let the belly deflate. Very good. So as I said earlier, we're going to explore the movement of the pelvis in relationship to our femurs, our thigh bones. The first thing we're going to do is place our hand on our thighs and push into the thighs, and that should feel like a really nice traction in your hip joints. And you can push a little bit more into the right thigh, stretching. You should feel stretched down the right side of your body, the right QL. And you can push a little bit more into the left, stretching the left side. Nice. And then we're just going to go into that movement a little bit more without using our hands. And now we're just using the muscles, the deep internal muscles of our abdominals. So it's our obliques that do this movement, also the QL, the muscles in the back. So now I'm just tail wagging my pelvis side to side. So if you imagine that you have a really long dragon tail, you're going to swoosh it over to one side and swoosh it over to the other side. So you're basically hiking your hip on one side and hiking your hip on the other side. And now coming to a place of stillness. Good. And now going back to the movement that we did earlier in the video, knees going over to the right, and then initiating by kind of suctioning the leg down into the hip socket. Bring your pelvis back to the mat and swoosh your legs over to the left. Initiate by drawing that thigh down in the socket. Come back to center. Take the legs over to the right. You can incorporate the breath. Inhale back to center. Exhale, legs go over to the left. Good. And coming back to center. And then again, find a place of stillness. Feel your pelvis. Feel the weight of your pelvis and your sacrum on that mat. From there, feel your feet on the mat. And take a breath in. And as you exhale, I'm just going to float your right leg up to a tabletop position. Bring the knee down on the mat. Float your left leg up. Bring the knee down. Just notice the connection of the leg as it sinks down in the hip socket. Should feel that nice smooth gliding of the femur as it sinks down. If it doesn't feel smooth, that's okay too. But you may notice as you do a few of these, it feels like it gets a little easier. You're gaining a little more mobility with each one you do. Let's do one more time on that left side. Good. So this is called hip disassociation, where we're just learning how to move from the hip joint without allowing the back to go along for the ride, so that we're stabilizing our back as the leg is moving, which can be really therapeutic and healthy for our spine, decompressing the joints. So let's go ahead and take the legs up to a tabletop position. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, you're going to use your abdominals for support. So you're going to sink your abdominals to your spine. And on your next exhale, you're just going to tap the right foot down and back up to tabletop. Exhale, tap your left foot down and back up to tabletop. Exhale, tap the right foot down and up, and left foot down So we're doing these toe taps at the same time keeping the low back nice and heavy on the mat and keeping the abdominals drawing down and in towards the spine. Now we're going to start to make the movement a little quicker as we scissor the legs. One leg goes up as one leg goes down. The ribs are staying heavy and connected to that mat. So we inhale and we exhale. Inhale, exhale. Should feel your belly warming up. Inhale, exhale, and inhale, exhale. And we're going to rest the legs and just, you can straighten them on the mat and just shake it out and see how that feels. You should feel the legs warming up now. Feel the energy that's starting to move through the pelvis now. Great. Let's go ahead and bring the feet down from there. And I'm doing this class today with no props so that really anybody can do this class if you don't have any props. It's really easy just to follow along. If you did want to put a block or like a yoga ball between your knees here, you could definitely do that for this next exercise, the bridge. So I'm going to go ahead and take a yoga block. Place it between my inner thighs, arms heavy at my sides. I'm going to feel the weight of my shoulders on the mat, and I'm going to tip my pelvis back. So I'm tipping back, imprinting my spine. I'm going to slowly peel up into a bridge, coming up onto my shoulder blades, keeping my ribs heavy. And then I'm just going to think about, as I come down, massaging my spine down. And I want you to think about going into that length that we discovered earlier by tractioning the hips. So you could manually traction the hips if you want to, or you could just imagine that somebody's kind of taking your legs and giving you this nice gentle pull so that you're creating more space between your ribs and your hips. So we're going to do that again. We're going to tilt the pelvis back so that we imprint the spine and then slowly peel up onto the shoulder blades, taking a deep breath in and then slowly peeling down. So it's like you have a string of pearls. It's on a stretchy string. So as you're stretching the string, the pearls get longer. There's more space between each vertebrae. We're going to breathe into that space at the bottom. As you exhale, you're going to slowly curl back up to the top. Good. So we're going to stay at the top this time and explore some rotation of the pelvis. So we're going to rotate one hip down at a time. So it'll be your left hip down and then up to the ceiling, right hip down and up to the ceiling, left hip down and up to the ceiling, right hip down. So it's like you have a marble at your belly button and you roll the marble towards your hip and then roll it back to your belly button. It's pretty small because there's only so much rotation we have in our pelvis. So we're going to do one more time on each side. Come back to center. Lift the hips a little higher. We're going to start to make a circle with the pelvis now. So it's like you're cleaning out the inside of an almond butter jar so that you're getting each little bit of that really expensive almond butter out of the jar. You don't want to waste any of it. Then we're going to go to the other side. So we're translating the hips. We're dropping them down, translating the other way, lifting back up. So we'll just go two more in this direction. We're really trying to keep the ribs still and mostly just move our pelvis. And we're going to roll back down. Very nice. You can take, if you had a blocker ball, you can take it away and just go ahead and shake your legs out a little bit as you release that. Feel the energy moving out your legs. Feel the muscles warm and energized, everything in the body waking up. Beautiful. So we're going to start to incorporate the upper body a little bit with the lower body now, starting with our legs up in a tabletop position, our arms up to the ceiling. This is called the dead bug. So it's where we reach the arms back, the legs forward, and pull everything back into center. So you're going to exhale, reach the arms and legs away. Inhale, pull that back in. Exhale, reach, connecting your ribs with your hips. and pull, and really connect with that push and pull. Push the energy out, pull the energy in. We'll go 2 more like that, sinking those ribs down. And last one, very nice. We're going to go into the single leg stretch. Bend your right knee, bring your hands to your shin, stretch your left leg long, and switch. Grab your left shin, and switch. So you're breathing here, inhale, and exhale. So obviously it's much more challenging to breathe in this position. See if you can breathe into the areas that feel easier to breathe into. Maybe it's the side of your ribs, back of the ribs. Just checking in, noticing. Where is it easier to breathe? And let's come on down. Take a little break, and we're going to go back to those windshield wipers. And every time we come back to the same exercise that we did before, notice the quality of the movement. Maybe there's a change in the tissues and the muscles. How does your body feel now? I'm doing a couple more of those to each side. Feel that spiral as it moves from your shoulder out through the hip, through the knee. You can even just release the arms out at a wide angle, really connecting the legs, pelvis, ribs to the shoulders and back. Whole body connected. And now we're going to do a roll up, but we're going to start with the hands behind the thighs to roll up. So on the exhale, you're going to slowly roll yourself up to seated. Bring your feet down on the mat and sit tall. So going back to that movement of the pelvis, we're going to feel that here too. It's where your pelvis is rolling away from your thighs. And we're going to roll all the way down. Arms will reach back. Feel the ribs stretching away from the hips. Take a deep breath in. Exhale and float the arms up. See if you can roll up without lifting your feet. And if not, you can go back to bringing your hands behind your thighs like we did earlier. We're going to just do a couple more of those nice and fluid through the spine. Maybe it doesn't feel fluid right away, but as you practice a couple of these, you might feel like it gets a little easier each time you do it as the spine starts to warm up. One more time, rolling up. Inhale at the top and exhale to come down. So we're going to stay on our backs for one more thing, bringing the knees as wide as the shoulders, the heels together. This is called a frog. We're going to push out and pull in. Again, we're going back to that push-pull. Pulling the legs in, pressing the legs out. Reach the energy long as you straighten your legs. Feel that nice deep fold in your hip creases. So you can stay with this, or if you want to add on, you're going to bring your hands behind your head, lift your head and shoulders, look to the belly button, reach the legs out, pull them back in. Exhale, reach the legs out and in and out and in. 2 more and 1. Awesome. Take the head down. Let's shake the legs out. 1 more time. Really nice. Good. So from there, just turn over onto your belly. You can make a little pillow under your forehead with your hands. And we're going to, from here, just lift the head, gently lifting the gaze. So my hands are staying right where they are. My elbows are wide so that when I come down, I can rest my forehead on the back of my hands. Should feel comfortable. I'm rolling my gaze up towards the baseboard of the wall in front of me, isometrically dragging my elbows back towards my hips, feeling the spine getting longer, longer, longer. So going back to those windshield wipers we did before, we're going to do them here too. You might feel more comfortable resting your head down for these, but I'm just going to keep my head up so that it's easier to hear me. Really allow the weight of your shins to Move the femur in the hip sockets. The femur is the thigh bone. And if you want to add a gentle rotation of your head, you're going to rotate away from the direction that your legs are moving. So if my legs go to the left, my gaze goes to the right, and vice versa. Moving the fascia in a spiral is a wonderful movement pathway for our connective tissues. And our connective tissues are made of water, so we're lubricating them with this movement. So let's take the legs wide on the mat from there. Forehead can come back down. Legs are at a wide V. We're going to squeeze the glutes, lift the legs off the mat, and lower them down. So we keep reaching the energy out through the toes, out through the feet. Keep the neck relaxed. Pubic bone heavy on the mat. Reach the energy out the toes. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. We're going to add on to that. Reaching the arms back towards the feet this time. Head and chest lift and legs lift together. Take a breath to hold. Lower the legs down. Lower the forehead and arms down. 2 more like that. Head, chest lift. Legs reach long. Arms reach back. Lower everything down. Last one. Lift and lower. Wonderful. Let's bring our hands under our shoulders. Press back to child's pose. Deepen those hips as you sit back onto your heels. Bring your forehead down on the mat. Walk your hands over to the right side of your mat. Bring the left hand on top of the right hand. Breathe into the left side of the ribs. Child's pose is a great exercise for your hips. Helps to use gravity and use the weight of your own pelvis to deepen those hip creases. Stack the right hand on top of the left. Breathe into the right side of your ribs. Come back to center. We're going to come onto hands and knees, quadruped position, and we're just going to start to do a full body circle. So if I had a paintbrush attached to my tailbone, I'd be drawing a circle on the wall behind me, up to the ceiling, out to the side, down to the floor. And then I'm going to reverse, circle the other way a few times. Let the head go along with the movement if that feels good. One more circular movement. These circular movements are so helpful for our bodies because we tend to do more linear movements throughout our day. If we're sitting a lot or if we're walking for exercise, which is a great form of exercise, but doesn't allow us to get more of that circular movement that really helps to move energy through our bodies. I hope you enjoyed today's class. Please let me know how you liked it. And I look forward to seeing you next week. These videos come out every Friday. If you want to be the first to see the video, you can go ahead and sign up for my mailing list. There is a link for that in the description below. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye.